Folks, today's guest is the founder and CEO of the world's largest crypto-only e-commerce site. If you've ever dreamed of gassing fiat and living only on crypto, this gentleman and his team have the solution for you. From Stockholm, Sweden, I am pleased to introduce to the Crypto News podcast, Sergej Kotliar. Sergej, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Matt, for a lovely intro.
Coming from Sweden, and myself being an absolute diehard hockey fan, growing up, I admired tons of Swedes, still do. You have Nick Lidström, you have Zetterberg, you have the captain of my beloved Toronto Maple Leafs, Matt Sundin. Tell me you're a hockey fan with a name like Sergej growing up in Sweden.
Well, and with a name like that and age like mine, that makes me a Red Wings man, which I used to follow quite passionate as a kid. I remember sitting up when I was 11 years old, like staying up all night to watch the Stanley Cup games. It was actually because sometimes we didn't have the premium channels that would show the NHL games. It was middle of the night. And so the channels that would show fantasy sports, also the channels that showed porn. So stay up and then watch the blurry after the porn. There was the hockey games.
Oh, I love that.
I haven't followed my hockey interest so much in the past years, I think.
What a story to kick that off, especially being a Red Wings fan. That's being a Red Wings fan is at least a good team to follow. I believe you guys won 5 cups in 15 or 20 years.
Yeah,
not too bad. But going right into Sweden, I was fortunate enough to visit Stockholm about 3 to 4 years ago. Just an absolutely stunning city, so cool. And being from Canada, the cold really didn't bother me at all. I believe it's nicer weather than Toronto too, which is a treat. You and your company, Bitrefill, currently reside in Stockholm, and there are a lot of crypto startups and just startups in general really buzzing in Stockholm and really making some moves. I'd love if you could tell me a little bit more about the startup ecosystem in Stockholm.
Well, here in Sweden, we pride ourselves as being a little Silicon Valley. As someone who has been to the actual Silicon Valley, I know that that's not entirely the case, but historically Sweden has produced a couple of per capita many successful startups, Spotify and Klarna and so on. And so I think it's a good environment. People have been building tech here for a while and so on. In terms of crypto, not that much activity here, unfortunately. We have a couple of exchange brokerage companies, as you have in most countries, and a couple of unspecified blockchain technology projects and stuff like that. But lately, actually, we've seen a lot more stuff coming out of Norway, which is very unexpected, and they're not traditionally known as a startup type place.
Interesting. Let's go right into Bitrefill. Love the name, by the way. If you could tell our audience a little bit about how it started, when it was founded back in 2014. I know there's a really interesting story behind that. But to begin, how did you choose the name Bitrefill?
Well, so the original version of Bitrefill, in the original configuration at least, you could buy refill prepaid phones, right? And so there's different wordings for that, and sometimes it's called top-ups or recharge, and so on. And refill was I think in American English, refill is one of the more common actually, but internationally it's a little bit more rare. I don't know. It was just sounded catchy and rolled off at the time reasonably well, and it was a company that worked with Bitcoin and phone refills, and so on that path it went, and it's come up a couple of times if we should change it or something in terms of our broader focus and so on, but we're I don't know, we stick to our roots, and I think that with everything that we do, refilling your things with Bitcoin is still what we do, so it's very, very apt.
I think the name is great personally. It definitely does the trick. But just about Bitrefill in general, I love the slogan. One of the best slogans out there is very simple, 3 words: live on crypto. And it's so crazy to think that when you guys had this vision about 6-7 years ago to live on crypto, people must have thought you were absolutely out to lunch. You were living in space or something. But now there are so many digital nomads, and there are places around the world where you can literally do exactly that and live on crypto. And you've created a multitude of products and services that pretty much allow anyone in the world to live on crypto in a much easier fashion. And that is done through a catalog of gift cards, prepaid mobile refills, and Lightning networking services that can be purchased using Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies on your platform, Bitrefill. Could you tell me a little bit more about how the company founded and what you guys are up to today?
Yeah, sure. Founded it late 2014 as first experiment, I think, but always had the North Star of enabling this thing that we have, the Bitcoin thing. And I think that, big picture, today in most countries where there is exchanges and so on, and people just, they buy their Bitcoins on the exchange and they sit on them and then they sell them on the exchange, and sort of like a lot of the value gets lost. Sometimes talk about that. Hey, imagine if we had all of the technology today and somebody invented email, and somebody would like write a letter on paper, snap a picture with their phone of the paper, email the picture, print it on the other side. Like, it's email. There are some benefits, but many other benefits are kind of lost. Right. And there's a ton of that in the crypto world, in that all of the real benefits and the freedom and so on only start materializing once there is an economy within the crypto layer, so that people can keep their money in crypto and buy stuff with it and get paid and sort of to cut the cord basically with the incumbent systems in a very not unlike way. I don't know if you remember when the online streaming services just started coming out, and there was a community called cord cutters, which was about people that cut the cord to their cable, to their TV, and they would only have the Netflixes, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it was controversial and outrageous at the time. Like, why would you not have your cable? Are you crazy? Like, how are you going to watch your hockey? And then over time, now it's like if somebody has cable, actual cable, that sounds weird. Like, I don't know anybody who has cable TV. Like, yeah, most people don't even plug in their TV other than to their Apple TV or whatnot.
It's like having a house phone.
Right. Yeah. And so exactly. And so that's kind of what we want to achieve with Bitrefill, is to achieve that for crypto, to be able to make the move and to either cut the cord or at least to sort of have the freedom, if not needing it as much.
It's such a cool concept. If you do want to use it, I highly recommend taking a quick peek, and it's a very simple, easy, beautiful site to use and very easy to get hooked on. And you can go through these flows of literally taking fiat, flushing it down the toilet, never needing to use it again, put all your fiat into Bitcoin or ETH, Litecoin, heck, even Dogecoin, a la Elon Musk. And you can use crypto to purchase gift cards from literally the world's most popular brands: Amazon, eBay, Apple, Walmart. You want to get a phone? Heck, snag an Apple gift card, buy a new phone. You want to take a vacation? Snag an Airbnb or a Delta Airlines gift card. Delta will get you there. Airbnb will house you. Are you hungry? Jump on Uber Eats, Grubhub. I absolutely love that. I'm a big Chipotle guy. I would be mucking those all day long. And it's so cool. One of the more interesting aspects that you guys have intertwined is, in today's day and age, all this works Yes, the Airbnb, the Delta, the Grubhub, it's all great, but without a phone plan, you're toast. And you and the team at Bitrefill have fixed that by enabling your customers to purchase prepaid phones, data, phone codes, and other related phone bundles. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, well, I think you said it pretty well. Our goal is anything that is digital and payable. We should have it as a product on our site, and the phone refills are what got us started in the beginning, and we had more of a emerging markets focus with those things, and it's still the case that in many countries that the phone refill through Bitrefill is the only thing that you can actually buy with Bitcoin in that country. But we're working on fixing that as well, but it's a start, right? And it's a cool thing that it's a product that everybody has and everybody uses all over the world. There's more people in the world that have a phone than there's people that have a toothbrush.
Come on.
Yeah, and it's true. And the vast majority of these phones are prepaid and can be refilled through a Bitrefill. So it doesn't really require much from the customer other than go in and type in the phone number and click, and it's done.
So being in over 170 countries and partnering with over 1,600 businesses, there must be some crazy hurdles or roadblocks that you have to jump through to make this happen.
Yeah, we haven't partnered with each of those companies individually. Like we use middlemen, providers, and so on. But we've built out, I think, a pretty good network of products, and we're looking forward to expanding that quite significantly during this year as well, and adding more gift cards, and especially in a couple of new countries, and also to broaden our coverage in Europe coming up. And that's, it's a big machine on the back side of the company. Like we have business development team and engineering efforts to make all of these integrations, and financial treasury, figuring out how to send money to all of these suppliers and so on. There's a lot of, it looks simple in the end, but there's a lot of effort going into it, making it all work.
Sergej, as CEO and founder of Bitrefill, you wear many different hats. There are many different roles. Was there ever a moment in time where you thought the business model might not work?
Yeah, sure. And I think to some extent we're still figuring it out in terms of, we're trying to achieve something that nobody has achieved, like building a successful business in the transactional cryptocurrency space. And it's hard. And it's one thing getting a couple of core fans, but getting it to grow broader, it's tough, and it's an ongoing effort, especially like how to market, how to package, and so on. And so, yeah, there's been for sure doubts and so on. And these things, the more difficult something is, the harder it is to follow.
Well said. Clearly, the business model is on a roll, and people do indeed want to live on crypto. That's why it's worked, and that's why it continues to work. You've also had a lot of success with investors. You mentioned spending some time in Silicon Valley in beautiful San Fran, and have had a pretty darn good track record with VC fundraising. Quick question about the whole pitching aspect. Back in the day, I guess, when you'd be in a boardroom, and now being in COVID, pitching via Zoom, what are your key points, and how do you go about selling those venture capitalists or PE firms?
Yeah, it's a good question. And it's always easier when the investor themselves are either a customer or in the target audience, let's say. One thing that I've learned is there's entire classes of investors that I don't even talk to anymore, including quite a few of the Silicon Valley ones. Because I mean, if you don't get why people would want to cut the cord and start living on crypto and so on, then it's just too hard. It's too hard to get them to believe and to buy in and so on. And so I've gotten, I think, better at figuring out which ones to spend time with and trying to
who to attack, who to get in bed with, who to schmooze.
Well, the interesting thing is, like, the worst investor isn't the one that tells you no right away, right? The worst investor is the one that takes a lot of your time and then says no.
Strings you along.
Right. So it's good to, I don't know how you say that in English, but like a water divider. Like you introduce something very early on in the pitch. Like, hey, we hold some of our balance sheet in Bitcoin. Hey.
No, it's handling objections. You let them know right off the bat. These are the objections you might find, and we're going to be honest with you. If you want to jump in bed with us, great. Let's get naked, and if not, go fly a kite. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And so that's what I find is like the holding Bitcoins on balance sheet is not seen as controversial these days. Now that Tesla is doing it, but it was definitely controversial up until 6 months ago. I would say. So it was one of those things that you can introduce, and then you can sort of quickly take the direction into the right point. But I mean, luckily, I think over the years we get to a point where we're more of a known entity. Many investors have, in fact, used our service in different ways, and that's usually the best investor. Like from then on, if they say that, hey, I use your service here and here, then you have a common ground. You don't need to explain everything in the same way that you would need to do. So it kind of raises the conversation.
I want to talk about Bitrefill users. Could you publicly tell me the MVP or the most valuable user, the MVU of Bitrefill? Is there a gentleman or a lady around the world who is absolutely balling out, living in the nicest Airbnbs, flying first class on Delta, buying crazy shit on Amazon? Do you have any customers who literally full on spend hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars a year and live their whole lives off Bitrefill?
I don't know if that level of money, but we definitely have customers that have bought expensive things, and travel is one of those things. We see those, and we try to, we work with amount limits and so on, and we reach out to customers if they're hitting limits, both for regulatory reasons, but also for learning about customers and so on. And so we have a couple of stories. I don't know. We also have customers that are more of a B2B kind and so on, and so they will rack up large amounts. But we definitely have a class of customers that are people that are like just traveling the world and living in Airbnbs and hotels and so on, and that have told us that, hey, I live on Bitrefill. There's been a couple of also like attempts by journalists that are like, hey, can I live on Bitcoin for a month? And some of them are like, and ended up just buying everything on Bitrefill, like ordering all of my food through the Uber Eats and DoorDashes and whatnot, and so on. But there's still no good way for paying traditional rent, unfortunately. So if you don't want to live in an Airbnb in a hotel room, then right now we don't have an offering for that.
In due time, though, especially as governments and regulators around the world keep hacking down and setting more rules and regulations in regards to crypto and the whole tax issues with that, it seems like as more people get into crypto and as more early adopters of crypto, as their bags continue to grow and grow and grow, people are going to need to find a way to not declare their crypto holdings. And off the record, this seems like a lovely way to do that, where you can not have to declare it and just keep buying gift cards. That happens all the time in real life with fiat to gift cards, where if you don't want to declare, say your USD from whatever transaction or whatever it may be, you buy gift cards and you can live off those. Have you guys ran into any problems with that?
Well, I mean, we encourage our customers to pay their taxes, and as do we. Yeah, I mean, that is an aspect of privacy. Is that one of the things that people can use privacy for? Is these things? In many countries, I don't think that that's the primary driver for our customers. I think there's other things, and like, frankly, convenience, maybe to some extent privacy. I mean, we still live in a world where, I mean, just the other day, I was helping an acquaintance realize some Bitcoin gains, and the person totally want to do the right thing in every way, and hey, the bank doesn't allow payments from crypto companies and this and that, and so the system just makes it hard in so many ways, and that's why it's nice to not need to rely on that at all.
No, it's 100% true there. Going back to the company and the employees, you've hired some incredible employees, have incredible reviews on companies like AngelList and Indeed. Now, Bitrefill offers free lunches, catered stuff, tons of perks, awesome, very awesome culture. What's the plan for the office in regards to the shit show that COVID has brought upon us? As COVID fizzles down and as the world returns to better days, is the plan to go back to the office, or stay fully remote?
Well, we have an office in Stockholm, but the team is spread out. So out of 30 people, there's, I think, 7 or 8 of us in the office, and most of us are not there every day anyway. So I mean, Corona stuff hasn't been a big interruption for us, other than people being scared and sick and so on. But in terms of working, we're remote first, and we've learned to work across time zones and so on. So I think we're going to continue with that. It's makes us able to recruit the best people and the most motivated people. Right, we're building the Bitcoin vision, and so people that join us come to participate in that. And so we've never had any issues in terms of motivation and so on, and even in terms of like values conflicts and so on that sometimes happen in companies. We have a pretty good. Everybody is pretty clear on what we're trying to achieve and so on, and the mood is pretty good. We think I don't know if it's just that we're hiring exceptionally good people on a human level. I think so, but I'm obviously biased. Maybe it's also from working remotely that people aren't in each other's face so much. And so when we actually do meet up, it used to be every 6 months. Now we have a backlog on that front because of travel restrictions. The atmosphere is, everybody who's seen one of our gatherings say that it's rare to see a company atmosphere that positive and engaging group of people with camaraderie and so on. Top
notch. Any advice to new entrepreneurs and crypto startups in regards to succeeding with the multiple time zone aspect?
It's tough. It is tough. You need to have the right amount of meetings, not too few, not too many, and navigate that, and sometimes schedule things for the conversations that will happen in an office. That doesn't happen if you need to call somebody on a call, right?
Right.
So figure out ways of having downtime around meetings or just calls for TGIF, or we've tried a lot of different things. And I think the weirdest thing is like we've tried to do TGIF, and it's problematic because like when it's after work European time and we're having a drink, it's like 9 a.m. For the U.S. West Coast people.
There's nothing wrong with that. Little mimosa or Caesar never hurt anybody.
Yeah, but they're also expected to work that day, right?
It's true.
Drunken programming and all that. No, but I mean, it's important, to figure out how to socialize and so on.
This episode is brought to you by our dear friends at CoinPoker, the world's premier crypto poker platform. CoinPoker is a revolutionary blockchain technology-based platform that was developed by an ambitious team of poker players. CoinPoker uses USDT stablecoin as the main in-game currency and CHP as in-game fuel, offering all benefits of the crypto world alongside. CoinPoker also features instant and secure transactions using USDT, Ethereum, Bitcoin, or CHP tokens and no KYC. You heard that right, no KYC. CoinPoker users get huge promotions as they give away thousands in fiat each week. CHP is the currency of the CoinPoker economy, providing players with exclusive benefits and supports future developments delivered to the CoinPoker community. My favorite part about CoinPoker is the mobile app. When I'm on the go, I whip out my phone and play a couple hands of Texas Hold'em or bet on sports. They have an amazing sports book, really clean spreads, very clean UX, and an overall great time. If you'd like to check them out, go to coinpoker.com and give them a try. Tell me about the astronaut. First, I'll never forget the first time I went on your website. Again, I've seen you guys blow up on Twitter. I've seen you buzz on Twitter many times, and we'll get into that shortly. But the astronaut, it is so friggin' cool and so clean. The branding, the bubble that he has, everything. Tell me more about it. And does he or she have a name?
The astronaut is sometimes referred to as Cryptonaut. But I mean, it's part of the thing that you don't see what the astronaut looks like behind the visor, right? So there's no issues of is it a man or a woman, or what skin color does it have, or is it a person even? I think the astronaut came out when we were experimenting with different ad concepts with our designer Jason Benjamin, and something about it just stuck. I think it speaks very elegantly to the crypto user, in that the astronaut, he has a suit on, is in space, is living in the future, but he is also at home in his couch ordering a pizza, right? And I think like it speaks to the identity of the crypto users, that we are at the same time, we're at the same time living in the future, but also in the present, right? And we're like suited up, ready to go, but also
chilling.
But also like things don't really work. Like it's clunky sitting in the astronaut suit in your couch, right? And so and crypto is often like that. So I think it speaks quite well to the audience, and so we've gone on with it, and we're going to do even more of that. It's pretty cool that it's becoming like the Ronald McDonald of Bitrefill.
It is. So just for those who don't know, the astronaut is like the official mascot of Bitrefill. It's powerful. It's unique. Like Sergej was saying, it has the astronaut suit on. It has the big bubble visor. Just looks like a big lad or lass, and fully decked out. It's just very clean and extremely powerful. One of the things you brought up was Jason Benjamin, your lead designer. As a company, you guys are massive on going in public, which I love. You often show a lot of your, I guess secrets may be the right word, but I think it was a couple of weeks ago, Jason did a live stream on YouTube walking the audience through his design process, which again, most companies don't do that. How important do you think it is to build in public?
I think it is important. I think everything in the crypto space, everything boils down to trust, right? The trust factor is more important than how much does it cost or what features does it have. The main thing is like, can I trust this? Right? And you still see this. I mean, even on Coinbase's landing page, there's going to be a big section of like, this is why you should trust us. And even like as the biggest company in the space, everybody needs to convey that, and that's why building a brand is important, and that's why it's anything that we can do, and transparency is important so people can say, hey, there's real people here, they're doing real things, they're trying their best. Sometimes they do something good, and then we can participate in the happiness. Sometimes they fuck up, and then we can tell them and hopefully forgive them, and so on. So I think it is valuable, and I think it's something we're going to be doing quite a bit more of.
Tell me, before we jump into some of the fun stuff like DeFi, NFTs, Bitcoin, and a couple of your hot takes, which I'm dying to get into, tell me about the next steps and the future of Bitrefill.
Lots of stuff. Lined up. First of all, just adding a bunch of new products, more gift cards, more things to buy, other solutions that are a little bit in the regulated side, more. We're looking at figuring out how to get to pay bills, for example, straight from Bitrefill, and generally, tie the whole experience together better, to build out the Lightning Network, to build out transactional use cases, like figuring out how we can facilitate the other side, like if we are the spending side of the circular economy, and then there is another side where people have earnings in Bitcoin or in crypto, and by earnings I don't mean people getting a cash back from like an affiliate network for buying something online. I mean like literally, hey, can I earn a living, by doing work or what have you, and trying to get this economy circulating, and doing what we can to facilitate that.
That's awesome. Tell me about your hot takes. I know you have a couple awesome hot takes. I can see you blushing.
I have a never-ending amount.
I was going to say, I can see you blushing here. You have some awesome hot takes on DeFi and NFTs. I'm just gonna let you dance. The floor is yours. Let's hear them.
That was a very broad question. I mean, the essence of what made Bitcoin successful is that there is proof of work and difficulty adjustments in mining and so on, meaning that nobody got their Bitcoins for free. Yeah, right. So when somebody mined their Bitcoins, they join the network at a cost. It doesn't. Whereas the opposite is if somebody creates something and calls it this shall be money and this shall be a currency, and then they sell it to people, then it's a pretty good business model, right? I mean, it's literally being the bank in monopoly, and we've had many iterations of that, and I think NFTs are maybe the latest. The thing is with these things is that it's a speculative game, right? In which you could call crypto as a whole for a type of gambling, right? Because it is a game. You collect these different tokens and they go up and down in value, and the goal is to increase the total value of these tokens.
It's a big old video game.
Right, but it's a game for real money. And it's often problematic, I think, in that there is these two sides of crypto, which is the, creating financial freedom and you can be your own bank and cut the cord and so on and solve money and inflation resistance and all of these things, right? But also, your entry point to this ecosystem is going to be a casino in which gets paid a commission if they can get you to trade tokens for other kinds of tokens that go up and down in value, and the more you trade, the more they make, right? And so we kind of suck people in sometimes for the wrong reasons, or we suck them in for the right reasons and then convert them to the wrong reasons. And build this gambling economy, and I don't know really what to say about it. I think historically there's been a lot of scams. I think there's still a lot of scams. At this point we're post scam, right? When there's things that are, you can argue like, is an NFT a scam? Well, it's very clearly is what it is. It's a picture of a tweet, Who can say that you got scammed if you paid money to buy a picture of a tweet? It's kind of clear that a picture of a tweet is a picture of a tweet. And if you want to pay money for it, maybe you can. There's certain things that maybe people that are new to the space don't always realize, right? Like, for example, that it's often the same money that goes in circles, right? So I guess and given that the system is decentralized, it's also hard to know. Like somebody creates a token and sells those tokens for X millions, but how do you know that it wasn't themselves buying those tokens for those millions? Because remember, if you have and this was someone else posting on Twitter that I'm paraphrasing, but like, imagine you have $1 million of Ether, and you're issuing a token, and then you use that $1 million to buy your own token. Then you have $1 million, and you also have tokens that are now worth $1 million. Right? And so you can sell them at a discount, and suddenly you're sort of creating value. So in the end, very often somebody ends up holding the metaphorical bag, so to speak, and I think that's often unfortunate with these games, and something that people should be aware of. That said, certain things I think reach a certain escape velocity as well. Ethereum being one such example that's raised a prominent ICO that took in a lot of money, but at this point it's been 6 years, and I don't know if anybody who considers themselves to have been scammed by Ethereum.
No.
So is it it becomes a victimless scam, right. Let's say, and then at that point, is that a scam if everybody's happy, and how long can it go on for, and so on, and so yeah, and NFTs, I don't know, they sound to me like rich people stuff. I don't know if it's more unreasonable to buy a picture of a tweet than it is to buy whatever else people buy for lots of money, right? The underwear that Michael Jordan wore at the game, or what have you. So I don't know. The thing with all of this is that they're often sold to people as if they were investments.
Right.
So if you're a hockey guy, maybe you collected hockey cards at some point. I did. I have a hockey card collection that I at the time you heard stories about, someone who had the hockey cards from the 70s or 60s and they're now worth this and that much. And that's great. And probably our hockey cards one day are going to be worth a lot as well. Right. Well, guess what? Like, it's been, what is it now? 25 years since I was in middle school. I actually checked my hockey cards. They're not worth anything. And I had a massive collection, like Magic the Gathering cards, same thing. and so you shouldn't, if you want to play with hockey cards because you like hockey cards, that's great.
Go for it.
Yeah, but if you're buying them as an investment, then it might not turn out as good as you would have thought.
Do your research, folks. Sergej, this has been incredible. I've had a blast speaking with you. A couple more questions before we let you go. What will happen first? Bitcoin to 100K or ETH to 5K?
How much? I need to check how much is an ETH.
I think 2.4.
It's doubling. Well, yeah, probably Bitcoin. It's a shorter trip. Yeah, and I think that Ether is right now being challenged in a lot of ways. So I would definitely say Bitcoin.
And last question, where can our audience find you on socials, yourself and Bitrefill?
Yeah, I mean, if you type in Bitrefill, the good things will show up on most channels. You can. My username is @Zigamon. I think if you mistype it, it's gonna come out, or just Bitrefill Sergej. And
what
search engines are my friends.
What does Zigamon mean?
It's a nickname I briefly had as a teenager that became my internet handle. A Zigamon is the Digimon with the worstest taste in music. Sick. It was like a brief inside joke, and then I used it on a website, and it was catchy, and it's kind of stuck with me.
Nice, that's awesome. Sergej, this was a treat. Really appreciate you coming on. Really big fan of your company. Sky is the limit. Moon is the limit for you guys. Love the brand, love the astronaut, love the team, love the concept. It was a pleasure. Thank you, and all the best. Have a good one.
Thank you so much, Matt. Thank you.
Folks, hope you enjoyed listening to this episode. This was Sergej from Bitrefill. You can find them on socials. I will post everything in the show notes and on our website, cryptonews.com. It will also be on our daily newsletter and at our socials as well, at Cryptonews. Hope you enjoyed listening to this. If you'd like to help us out, please subscribe. We would love if you did that. Wishing you all the best and have a wonderful day. Thanks again.